Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that leads to the degeneration and death of brain cells. This results in memory loss, cognitive decline, and changes in behavior. Is a detailed look at how Alzheimer's disease affects the brain. Formation. Amyloid beta deposits. One of the hallmark features of Alzheimer's disease is the accumulation of amyloid beta peptides in the brain. These peptides aggregate to form plaques, which are sticky clumps that disrupt cell function. Formation. Amyloid plaques are primarily found in the extracellular space between neurons. They can trigger inflammatory responses and disrupt communications with brain cells. Tau tangles. Tau protein. Another key feature is the accumulation of hyperphosphorylated tau protein inside neurons. In healthy neurons, tau helps stabilize microtubules, which are essential for cell structure and transport. Tangle formation. In Alzheimer's disease, tau becomes hyperphosphorylated and forms twisted tangles within the cell. These tangles disrupt the transport system and contribute to neuronal death. Neuronal damage and loss. Synaptic dysfunction. Both amyloid plaques and tau tangles interfere with synaptic function, which impairs communication between neurons. This synaptic dysfunction contributes to the cognitive decline observed in Alzheimer's patients. Neuronal death. Over time, the disruption of synaptic function and neuronal loss becomes more pronounced. Brain regions involved in memory and cognitive functions, such as the hippocampus and cerebral cortex, are particularly affected. Inflammatory responses. Microglia activation. The brain's immune cells, known as microglia, become activated in response to amyloid plaques and tau tangles. While this response is initially protective, chronic inflammation can exacerbate neuronal damage. Neuroinflammation. Persistent inflammation contributes to further neuronal injury and loss, creating a cycle of damage. Brain atrophy. Cerebral cortex shrinkage. As neurons die and synaptic connections are lost, the brain undergoes atrophy, particularly in the cerebral cortex and hippocampus. This shrinkage is associated with a progressive decline in cognitive abilities. Ventricular enlargement. The ventricles, or fluid-filled spaces in the brain, tend to enlarge as the surrounding brain tissue shrinks. Neurotransmitter changes. Acetylcholine deficiency. One of the neurotransmitters most affected by Alzheimer's disease is acetylcholine, which is crucial for learning and memory. The loss of cholinergic neurons, neurons that use acetylcholine, is a key feature of the disease. Other neurotransmitters. Changes in other neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and glutamate, also occur, contributing to the complex symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. Genetic and environmental factors. Genetic risk factors. Certain genes, such as the APOE4 allele, increase the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, though genetic predisposition is only one factor. Environmental influences. Lifestyle factors, such as diet, exercise, and mental stimulation, can influence the onset and progression of Alzheimer's disease. The interplay of these factors results in the characteristic symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, including memory loss, confusion, and difficulty with reasoning and planning. Researchers are continuously studying these processes to develop better treatments and preventive strategies for this debilitating condition.